So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to all of you. Namaste. You have come from all parts of the world. The names are too numerous to mention. Only those who were early, I recognize them. But time is upon us, so I can't call all the distinguished people from all parts of the world. First, I wish to express condolences to Mr. Bipat, BWPAT, owner of Bipat and Sons and Giflan Mall in Guyana. He has recently passed today. So our condolences to the family. And our chairperson tonight is new, and she's also a BIPAT, but BIPAT, and she's from Suriname. Devika Bipat, who is assistant at executive DP Virtual. I guess the DP means Devika Bipat. But she also owns her own company, DP Linkage Events. Devika is a trainer and events organizer. She trains people in customer service, public speaking, and basic etiquette. Devika and others would volunteer with us when time is available. They have to rotate because it's all voluntary public service. I and other members of our planning team will continue to stay in the background as directors of this program. Ms. Devika, welcome, and please chair the meeting. Unmute your mic. Yes, Devika, I think you have to unmute.
Unmute.
Unmute,
Yes,
right? Yeah,
unmute.
yeah.
Namaste. Thank you, Mr. Mahabir. Namaste, everyone. Welcome. Um, well, good night, I must say, or good morning, or good evening. Namaste to all of you. Of course, depending on the time zone in which you live, because we have people now from all over the world joining our meeting. And we'll start with whatever is happening right now, which is this current COVID-19 pandemic. It's still rampant. And so the safest place to be is at home. Remember to wash your hands, sanitize your environment as well. And in public places, please keep your social distance and wear your face mask as well. So that is just some rules of reminder I'm giving you. Now, we wish to congratulate the Republic of Suriname on its 45th independence anniversary, which was celebrated last week here in Suriname. And we had the President Irfan Ali of Guyana also. He was here for a 3-day visit to Suriname to celebrate the 45th independence of Suriname. And he was warmly welcomed as well by Suriname President Chandrika Persad Santokhi. Okay, well, at the same time, we have to take note of a recent World Bank review, everyone, that describes Guyana as still being one of the poorest countries in South America. And despite major oil discoveries, the country has the highest immigration rate in the world, with more than 55% of its citizens living abroad. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a weekly forum. We are hosting the weekly forum. It's hosted by the Indo-Caribbean Culture Center, a legally registered research and publishing company operating since 2010. And I would love to let you know more. We are dedicated to highlighting and discussing issues and events that impact mainly Indo-Caribbean people in the region. We believe that they and their views are often marginal or marginalized in the mainstream media, in formal discourses, in public groups, organizations, and institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, the topics of these discussions are mainly on or about Indians. But these meetings are not for Indians only. This platform welcomes all, regardless of your ethnicity. And also, this forum follows the Black Lives Matter movement with a mission to eradicate inequality, injustice, discrimination, and systemic racism. This forum is international in scope, and we seek to provide voice and visibility to a group that is an ethnic minority in the Caribbean, but nevertheless still the largest ethnic minority in the English-speaking Caribbean. Now, this meeting would end at 9 p.m. Trinidad time or 10 p.m. Suriname time, or soon after, meaning it would be about 1.5 hours long. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to introduce you to an amazing person, our moderator tonight. She is new, and her name is Karishma Lal Mohammed Matura. A little info on Karishma. Well, Karishma is this amazing young woman from Suriname. She specializes in communications, human rights, and youth participation in governance. Karishma has worked on marketing projects globally and is currently supporting the new government in Suriname, Government Santoki. She is a chairwoman of the VHP Youth Council and is very socially active in community serving as a member of Lions Club Commonwealth. Karishma, welcome, and please take over from here.
Thank you very much, my fellow Surinamese Devika people. It is truly
You're welcome.
an honor to be part of this meeting. And thank you all for providing me with this opportunity and platform. Ladies and gentlemen, this public meeting will take the form of a panel discussion. Please mute your microphone unless you have to speak. The microphone icon or symbol is at the bottom left corner of your screen. The background noise is often annoying, irritating, and distracting. So please mute your microphone. Our topic tonight is traditional.
Please use your microphone.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Our topic tonight is traditional Indian languages in the Caribbean. When Indian indentured laborers came to the Caribbean, they brought with them a number of languages. Some groups of Awadhi, Magadhi, and Maithili speakers were included among the recruits, as well as Bengali, Nepali, and Telugu. Some immigrants from Madras brought Tamil. But since the majority of the immigrants came from Bihar and the United Provinces, Bhojpuri became the dominant language at the expense of other regional dialect and minority languages. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce our first speaker, who is Dr. VISHAM BHIMULL. He is a medical doctor, a researcher in Trinidad Bhojpuri, and the founder of the Caribbean Hindustani organization. Welcome, Dr. VISHAM. Please unmute your microphone and speak for about 12 minutes.
सबको एक सीताराम नमस्ते। जैसे आप सब जानिला, तुम लोग सब जानिला, हमार नाम विशाम बा और मौका के खातिर मुझे हमके बहुत खुशी बा आज रात बोले. So it makes sense to speak the language if we're talking about the language. So I just give a sample. Yes, I founded Caribbean Hindustani. Tonight, my presentation will take the form of the journey of Caribbean Hindustani, which is my own personal journey, as well as what Caribbean Hindustani has done since it was founded. I chose the name Caribbean Hindustani. Why? Because that's the internationally accepted designation for the Hindustani of Suriname, which is Sarnami, Trinidad Bhojpuri, and Guyana, Guyanese Bhojpuri. I'm indeed very honored to be in the presence of two individuals who are essentially my mentors, who did research on Guyanese Bhojpuri, which is Dr. Gambhir, as well as MOTI MARHÉ, who is a panelist tonight. my personal story is essentially this. I grew up with my grandparents, Nana, Nani speaking Bhojpuri. I did MBBS at university. At that point, I did Hindi up to advanced. And while at university, I discovered Peggy Mohan's thesis. Dr. Peggy Mohan is the other mentor I want to mention because most of my knowledge on Trinidad Bhojpuri is essentially her research. After doing that, okay, so it's very interesting because I want to bring it to the fore here. I could not speak Trinidad Bhojpuri as a child. I would only hear expressions from my grandparents. And I also want to share my cognizance of the language as I grew up. My nanny used to say, this is broken Hindi. And whenever we would watch the Ramayana story on TV, which they speak Sanskritized or Shuddh Hindi, she would say that's deep Hindi. And that's the proper Hindi. I would give one reference to an interview I had, Kawahakani ke Kisa. And this is the exact words of the woman. How I go say it, people go lap, and she say lap. That's how we say laugh, pronounce F in Trinidad Bhojpuri. So it tells that the speakers themselves of the language, which I still interview, have essentially a inferiority associated with the language, which is one reason or one of the hindrances that exists in promotion of the language. Like our moderator Karishma said, Caribbean Hindustani, under Caribbean Hindustani comes a variety of dialects and languages. Bhojpuri was the critical mass, yes, so that is essentially a variant of Bhojpuri, but Awadhi, which is in Sarnami, also has a significant influence. And then she mentioned Magahi, Maithili, all these belong into the Magadhan languages or that come from the Eastern spoken vernacular of Sanskrit. Whereas Hindi, which I think is essentially a form of Caribbean Hindustani now as an emerging standard, or is one of the standards, also could be included under Caribbean Hindustani. But for all intents and purposes, Caribbean Hindustani is based in Bhojpuri, and modern standard Hindi is based in Khariboli. So they are essentially from two different Prakrits or spoken vernaculars of Sanskrit. And yes, we had some Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam speakers, I believe, Tamil being the significant Dravidian languages that contributed. So we have certain words in our, at least Trinidad Bhojpuri, because I know in the earlier part of indentureship, one of the ports of disembarkation was Madras. So that in Guyana and Trinidad, Guyanese Bhojpuri as well as Trinidad Bhojpuri, there are some Tamil words or elements of Tamil that exist in it. So that's an overview of what my research has indicated on basically the basis or foundation of the Caribbean Hindustani language, which I named my organization, the organization I founded after. So I mentioned a few names. Surendra Gambhir, Peggy Mohan, and Moti Marhé, to present tonight. Unfortunately, Peggy Mohan couldn't attend because I think it's 5 a.m. in India now, her time. But with these three, I've been in close collaboration with regard to the research I've been doing. When I reached out to Moti Marhé, I remember that actually, one of our panelists, WANITA RAMNATH, when we had a discussion earlier this week, the Trinidadian and Guyanese persons of Indian origin kind of unaware of the Dutch Indo-Surinamese population in Suriname and the Netherlands, and the fact that the language is still essentially alive and exists in that diaspora. So me meeting Moti Marhé was quite important because now I was able to immerse myself in a language to continue learning it essentially. So I visit Netherlands, Suriname, and Suriname ever so often to do interviews. All right. So this brings me to the next point of my presentation. There's a popular use of words, bhajan, bhojan, bhasha, bhish. These are essentially the domains of existence of the Hindustani language. Bhajan, which I'll focus on today, is essentially the song expression. Bhojan is the food or culinary arts. Bhasha, which essentially links or the glue of the three, and Bhesh, which is a attire like I have on a kurta. These are elements of our identity. I will highlight language tonight in the context of bhajan. Now, bhajan is a particular style, but bhajan would, in this context, cover certain aspects of music, chutney, sukha, bhajan, as well as, let's say, Bollywood songs, because this is where the language exists. I want to also look at stakeholders, because one of the purposes tonight is to bring to the fore what has been done for the language, specifically Hindustani. Tamil, not so much, more in Guadeloupe and Martinique. They are promoting that because that diaspora is essentially more Dravidian diaspora or speakers of South Indian languages. The National Council of Indian Culture, I want to mention, I'm a member. This is a key stakeholder with regard to the Hindustani language in Trinidad, as well as the Hindi Foundation of Trinidad and Tobago, which I'm also a member. With the National Council of Indian Culture, through my initiatives, just prior to forming Caribbean Hindustani, we did workshops in 2010. Workshops for the media. Why? Because in Trinidad, there are those who basically are people in media who broadcast Hindustani stuff, like most of the Indian stations, whether it be chutney, whether it be Bollywood songs, whether it be religious songs. These people do Hindustani content, and like in Suriname, which I appreciate, and in Netherlands, the radio announcers actually speak either in Sarnami Hindi or Hindi, some Dutch. We don't have that in Trinidad. That's essential. That is essential for us to promote the language and give it a sense of existence or being alive. We did workshops for the artists because they sing the songs. Unfortunately, in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Guyana, the singers of Hindustani content, be it folk, Bollywood, or otherwise, they don't understand what they sing. And that leads to some sort of hindrance in promotion of the language. Further, because it doesn't make sense people sing a song and mispronounce the words, because and we don't understand it. Because if we don't understand what we're saying, then we can't give the performance all the moods, the rasas and the rasas that it actually needs, or the emotion. And then for the audience, because the audience in Trinidad and Guyana listen to Hindustani content, but again, they don't understand. So I highlight these groups because these are essential groups which we need to promote Hindi Hindustani is essentially a very one a major stakeholder or the consumers of this product of Hindustani. And the Hindi Foundation of Trinidad and Tobago I want to highlight as well because they have been doing a lot to try to achieve, like in Suriname, teaching Hindi at primary and secondary school so that people could actually have that as an option as a foreign language. UNESCO, I want to point out, essentially has intangible culture, and Mauritius has reached out to them for the folk song tradition and preserving that. A lot of work has been done. Dr. Peggy Mohan and I wrote a proposal to them, which we're still waiting on a response. But essentially, it focuses on the same three stakeholder groups that I mentioned, where we teach Trinidad Bhojpuri as well as Hindi through the medium of song, which is a lot of our speakers will talk about that today, because that's a major focus. And I think a lot of people who listen to Hindustani content would be essentially the audience for knowledge of Hindi Hindustani. I would just want to point out that, and I mentioned this before, with an audit done on Hindi classes in Trinidad, and I want to highlight Pandita Indrani Rampasad, Dr. Indrani Rampasad. We did a questionnaire in schools, and that research showed that there's a gap. There's a gap between the vocabulary used in Bollywood, used in chutney, used in bhajans, and what is taught in Hindi class. Often, Surinamis would call a dog a kutta, we call it kukur. When you learn makan for house, it's ghar. So there's a folk context of how we learn vocabulary, because remember, we came from, our ancestors came from the village life, from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, so that the context of the vocabulary would not be the context of modern standard Hindi. We must bear that in mind. because if we take formal Hindi teaching from India, it may not necessarily fulfill our needs for understanding our culture here in Trinidad and Tobago. I remember as a child, there was something called Neuta, which is the rice that they put on the invitation. But in Hindi class, you don't learn that word, you learn Nimantran. So there's a gap, We won't appreciate our culture with the current system of teaching Hindi, from my impression. And yeah, I highlighted the styles of songs. So chutney soka, bhajan, Bollywood songs. I conduct a batchit, Hindi batchit every Friday, which gives the opportunity for at least Trinidad or in the English-speaking world, those of persons of Indian origin, as well as people who would have come from India, the opportunity to meet, interact, and mingle and speak in the language. I did French, I did Dutch, and one of the most important things I know, yeah, ik kan Nederlands praten, maar niet zo goed. The thing is that in any language you learn, you need to interact in it on a daily basis. I've learned that, at least in Hindi, Trinidad Bhojpuri, because I want to highlight Moti here and his son Pawan, who's also paying attention. Often we talk on the phone, and when we talk on the phone, I try to speak in Hindustani to them, so I get the practice, and in some Dutch. So that the issue is, we also need to encourage this link in diaspora, which I applaud Dr. Kumar Mahabir for doing, because once we link diaspora, essentially where Hindustani exists and Hindi, like in Suriname and the Netherlands, we can now, from the rest of the diaspora, interact and learn and kind of revive the language essentially. And I want to end on the last point here, that you all know Gangs of Wasipur. It's a very popular movie. The music director is Sneha Kanwalkar, the Bollywood music director. She had visited Trinidad and Tobago in 2010, and I took her around. In Gangs of Wasipur Part 1, Rasika Dindyal, a popular, well, Suriname call it baithak gana, but we call it local classical and chutney singer. She and Videsh Suku, I believe, they were highlighted as chutney songs in a Bollywood movie. I think that's one major link that we need to look at. I would like you all to look out, because Sneha actually would be on an interview next week because we're doing a collaboration. And I want to also highlight the last panelist from chutneymusic.com, Jason, who has been a great support to Caribbean Hindustani, because chutneymusic.com has been engaging us, Caribbean Hindustani, with regard to the knowledge of language within the various expressions of, we say bhajan, which bhajan extends into song traditions, which would be the chutney music, the chutney soka, as well as the Bollywood songs. Yeah, I think that's the end of my presentation, and this opens up now the discussion for the rest of the panelists with regard to the topic tonight. Dhanyawad.
Thank you very much, Dr. VISHAM BHIMULL, for your clear presentation. Our second speaker is a woman. She is also from Suriname. I'm very proud that Suriname is so well represented, and also a lot of participation of the Surinamese women. She is WANITA RAMNATH from Suriname, and she holds an MA in Linguistics from Leiden University. She is a specialist in studying the baithak gana genre of music in Suriname. Welcome, Ms. WANITA. The floor is yours for about 12 minutes. You may start.
Yes, thank you so much, Karishma. Namaste, everyone. Thanks for giving me this opportunity, and I hope you will enjoy my presentation. I want to share my screen now.
Dino.
I hope you already have the screen with you.
Yes, we can see it. We can see it.
It's visible.
Okay, thank you. So my presentation for today is I named it Baithak Gana, a musical and textual journey with loan words. I will give you a short review. I will kept it very short with the history of the immigrants, what is baithak gana, and how this genre, continues in Suriname. My research question, a little bit about cryolization and loanwords, analysis of the lyrics, and conclusion. So Suriname had a total of almost something like 34,304 immigrants that came as contract workers. And in addition to this, we had some free immigrants after that, almost a kind of 10,000, that amount. This was for a period like for 1873 till 1916. Approximately 23,000 people stayed here. And so we have Hindustani in Suriname also with our own culture and our own tradition here. The most Hindustani here, they speak fluently Dutch. So do I, so do Karishma, I think so do Deepika. And now BHIMULL also, happy to hear that's also Mr. Marhé. And in addition to Dutch, they also speak Sarnami, and most of them fluently also speak Suriname. For the school language, that is Dutch. On special occasions, some people can speak fluently Hindi, but I think the most of the people here, the Hindustani, can understand Hindi. What is baithak gana? Baithak gana is, in fact, it's a combination of the words baithak, that means sitting, and gana is song, singing. It means, in fact, sitting and singing the song. It can be on a special occasion, in a session, in a meeting, on that attend. So originally, it was like sitting on the floor, at least 3 people with harmonium, dhol, and tantal, and the music was made. That was the baithak gana. It was religious, and in the past, in the beginning, only men used to sing the song. What is tan singing? What we call our version of the baithak gana is the tan singing for people in Trinidad and Tobago and in Guyana. In fact, it's just the same, the baithak gana and the tan singing. Nowadays, we hardly can speak about baithak gana. It's more like chutney song, pop music, the modern style of that. So let's go further. The baithak gana in the past, for example, they always had a alap. They started with a alap like hum, and na chhora saath Lakshman ne mohabbat ho to aisi ho. Nowadays, we have like each Horian aaj ke ka kare hai. Are sun more bhai, are sun more lal. Are tu chhod de aaj se chhori ke babao. It's really different. You can see the transformation in the lyrics. Okay, curious about to her how the baithak gana sound earlier. I found this one I love. This from Trinidad and Tobago of Isaac Jankaran.
दुनिया से दिल लगा कर दुनिया से क्या मिलेगा यादें खुदा की ये जा तुझको खुदा मिलेगा दुनिया से दिल
So you can hear that. And let's look how it sounds nowadays.
Ik heb een Nederlandse vrouw, luister, luister. Maar bakari ke auret deke aili Sarnami. Holland sere, sandarai pe yari tere hoi kaili khali babal re. Maski tare, magatis gorpe, barka kundu rogatis kanpe, barka kundu gatis hatpe. घर में लड़का कूदू ओके महीना लगे है Suriname Suriname हल्दी वापस मांगे जाए straight to Holland मालिक की बात Suriname ने और ट्रैक मरियान तब जल्दी से तू जा जाना ये के करला because I love Suriname iba hamade I love Suriname dekwa ba hamade I love Suriname iba hamade I love Suriname dekwa ba hamade.
I think you can hear the different languages, were loan words, but I will, I think further in my presentation, I have something about this. So my research question was, to what extent is cryolization involved in the lyrics of the baithak, Gana, and Suriname? And is there an increase in loan words? So I have a very little part of the lyrics of Mini Rock, Mini Skirt. That's a song from Ramurti Lachman, and it's from 1973. Mini Rock pahin ke larki baap re baap, lipstick खूब लगाए बा, छटक छटक के चाल चले London के भरमाए बा. So if you look, Mini Rock is the Dutch word for mini skirt. And pahin ke larki baap re baap, you know, we can say all the words in white, and they are Sarnami Hindi words. Ba is a Sarnami word, and it's used most of it of the people of Paramaribo, Wanika, etc. use that. The people of Nikeri don't use ba; they use hai. Lipstick is the English word, and the other ones are Sarnami and Hindi words. So here I have a part of the lyrics of Kofferbach system, strong system. And Koffer Bakia में देखा है खाली बोतल. Kofferbach system हुआ, traditie होई गरे, forat पे forat लदा है auto में. Kofferbach is in fact a Dutch word for trunk. And Kofferbakia it's like a new word in Sarnami, you know. And bottle is English. Then we have Kofferbach system is Dutch, but Kofferbach systemwa makes it Sarnami. Traditie is Dutch. Hoigere, Forat is also Dutch. Well, if you analyze the whole song, then we can see that Trong system has 76% of Sarnami or Hindi words, 13% of Dutch, 5% English, and 6% of Suriname. So I have another one. Bakarni ke aurat, the first song, the video you saw. Okay, moi na lage hai Sarnam, Sarnam. So you see moi there, and moi means nice, and it's a Dutch word, but moi with only one O is like Suriname. Haldi se wapas mange jaye straight to Holland. So straight is English. Bole ki van Suriname nie hoort trek me niet aan. Van Suriname nie hoort trek me niet aan. So there are a lot loan words of Dutch there. And naar je kikkerland is Dutch. So let's see what the whole song, when you analyze that, you can see 75% is still Hindi or Sarnami, 14% is Dutch, and 11% is Suriname. This means that a lot of loan words are coming in the new kind, the new version of the baithak Gana, those chutney songs. In the beginning, we had the song only in Hindi, and now you see the transformation of that song. What did the respondents say? 58%, they are telling us that the baithak Gana is for everyone, for Hindustani and non-Hindustani, because of the loan words. Other people who are not Hindustani can understand the song. Cryolization, 72% say yeah, we can see that because a different kind of culture blended and mixed, and we have elements of different kind of cultures, Surinamese cultures. Do you see change in language? 79% say yes. And influence of other Surinamese cultures, 68%. And if we see foreign influences, so 74%. And with foreign influences, it's like the way they are presenting the song, you know, dancing, standing, not sitting anymore. New kind of music instrument like keyboard, not only harmonium, dhol, and the dhantal, but other keyboard, the guitar, etc., etc. Okay, and what about the increase of the loan words? So 85%, they see that there is really an increase of loan words in those songs. And that are like the songs that is written by, most of the time, written by the singers themselves. So what is my conclusion? It can be argued that baithak Gana has had influence from outside and from the multicultural society, has made changes in the lyrics, music, musical instruments, and musical style. The multicultural society has ensured that words from the other languages are included in the lyrics of today's baithak Gana. Cryolization has taken, and there is an increase of loan words in this baithak Gana. Before I end my presentation, I have something, and I think, because if you speak to the younger generation, they are ashamed of speaking Sarnami. So I think that is something we should be very proud of. So let's hear the last video I have.
We come from the country they call Guyana, land of the bauxite, the rice and sugar. We come from the country they call Guyana, land of the bauxite, the rice and sugar. Me say, Papa, big ribbon, let me go. Me got to come back and Guyana some more. Me say, Papa, big ribbon, let me go. Me got to go back to Guyana some more. Oh, Bangali Babu, oh, Guyana Babu, oh, Bangali Babu, oh, Guyana Babu. I am the very best of the Guyanese Babu. I am the very best of the Guyanese Babu. सुमिरन करके नारायण के लय बजरंग बली के नाम तथा बखानो सूरी नाम को जिन पर हमको है अभिमान सुमिरन करके नारायण के लय बजरंग बली के नाम तथा बखानो सूरी नाम को जिन पर हमको है अभिमान कलकत्ता से भर्ती होकर सूरीनाम में पहुंचे आए उतर गए जब यही दसवा में दीपू में गए भात खवाए
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. WANITA RAMNATH from Suriname. We will continue with our next speaker. Our second to last speaker is from the Netherlands. He is Dr. MOTI MARHÉ, who was born in Curaçao, studied Dutch linguistics and literature at Leiden University, and specialized in Sarnami Hindi. Mr. MOTI researched his native Sarnami language and documented the first Sarnami grammar, Sarnami Vyakaran, in Dutch. Welcome, Mr. MARHÉ. The microphone is yours for about 12 minutes. You may start your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Karishma, and thank you, Dr. Mahabir VISHAM, for allowing me to have this contribution in this Zoom. I will tell you something. I was born in Curaçao, but I am not an Antillian. I'm a Surinamese Hindustani. My parents went to Curaçao. My father went there to work, and then I was born. But after 1 year, my family went to Suriname back, and there all my brothers and sisters were born in that country, except one gal. She was born in Guyana because my father was replaced from this place to that place because he was a government employee. So this girl, Shanta, she was born in 64 village, and there we lived for 2 years. I mean, from 1947, 46, and 47. And when I was in Guyana, I spoke Guyanese. When we been Lille, we been talk Guyanese. And still now we talk Guyanese. When we meet people from Guyana, then them glad to hear me speaking their language. Okay, but nowadays I live in Holland, and I can tell you, here it is the 30th of November. I think all of you are still in the 20th November, I say. The 30th of November, I think all of you are still in the 29th of November. And the situation here is that it is freezing outside, -4 degrees, while most of you live in a warm country. My presentation is not so long as all of yours. I want to tell you about my experience on these linguistic activities of mine. My name is MOTI MARHÉ, and I'm a Dutch citizen of Sarnami Hindustani descent, born on 18th March in Willemstad, Curaçao. And you know, Curaçao is was part of the Dutch kingdom. And,
Dutch.
Yes, Mr. Babi, do you say something?
No, Moti, you continue. I think the person have to unmute.
I continue.
Yeah. After mute, you have to mute. Yeah.
Okay. In 1969, I left Suriname for the Netherlands for studies, and whenever I visit Suriname, I present lectures, radio and TV programs, and international diaspora documentaries on local channels. So I represent both Suriname and the Netherlands with my linguistic activities. In addition to studying Dutch linguistics and literature at Leiden University, I also studied Hindi and some Sanskrit. I also command about 9 languages in total. As a graduation assignment, I researched my mother tongue Sarnami Hindustani and described its first scientific grammar, Sarnami Vyakaran, in Dutch language. This has become possible due to my linguistic research among Hindustanis in the Netherlands, Suriname, and India, in particular Eastern Bihar, Eastern Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, the main areas of origin of Hindustani Surinamese, where Bhojpuri and Awadhi are spoken. For this purpose of writing this grammar, I followed my guru in Suriname, Dr. Jan Adheen, in realizing the current official Sarnami Roman orthography in Suriname. Sarnami language has, from the 70s on of the former century, gained international scientific interest and attention. I'm also seen as the founder of the Sarnami emancipation movement that started in 1971 in Leiden and The Hague here, with some of my student friends. Since then, I have been working as a Sarnami activist in order to make its speakers love, be proud, and become aware of the beauty of their mother tongue and the related folk cultures and history. Worth mentioning is that in '78, I suggested the name and idea of the Baba and Mai monument in Paramaribo. With this, I am seen as the spiritual father of this national Surinamese symbol. Baba and Mai now have an international allure because the Indian government, the Ministry of Moyo, has installed a replica of this monument in Kolkata on the spot of the Hooghly River from where the Sarnami Girmitias were taken on board. It's my sincere wish of having an adapted replica of the Baba and Mai monument erected in all Hindustani diaspora countries on the spot where our ancestors first landed, thus representing and emphasizing the unity and common culture of all the descendants of the Girmitias wherever they live on the globe. And now I want to say something in this program. Sometimes you hear some people say Suriname, and then you hear another say Suriname. Well, I can tell you that the official name of Suriname, my country, I was not born there, but I still consider it my country. The exact name is Suriname. When you write it, you have the final E. However, we have the company of Suriname Airways, they write still Suriname without the E, but okay, they don't change their name, but officially our country is Suriname. Acha, and I expect questions from my colleagues here, yeah.
Yeah, Moti, just a few of the songs we looked at, you could probably look at too, because Moti will now present a few of the baithak Gana songs with the translation to show that we could learn Hindustani through the baithak and chutney.
Listen, I'm not an expert on baithak Gana theory, yeah? I understand many of the languages, and mostly my son Pawan and I in Holland, we tried to popularize baithak Gana both in Suriname and here, because both of us worked in the field of the media, the channels, and we are happy to have visited many of the diaspora countries like Mauritius, South Africa, Trinidad, Guyana, New York even, and England, and now we live here. And thanks to our efforts, the baithak Gana tradition gained much popularity among youngsters. And here in Holland, we have many young singers who often go to Suriname and inspire other people there. But Visham, what was your question?
Yeah, we looked at a few popular baithak Gana chutney songs. So, I mean, we did an extensive list, but you could probably just do a few to end there so that we show how we could teach Hindustani through the song.
Yeah, it's a quite good enterprise of yours to use the baithak Gana songs to stimulate people to learn Bhojpuri. But yeah, which one shall we take, Visham?
So you could probably do Badala Karela Bauchar.
Acha, Badla Karela Bauchar. Sajanua Bhijal Mere Chunaria Hai Mere Guria. What I can tell about this without being negative towards Trinidadians and singers there, but it's common when you forget the language and you want to sing in it, and many people make words or change words. For instance, Badala Kalela Bauchar. Now, Badala is Badal, the rain clouds. You know, in Hindi, there is a change of letters. Badal is rain clouds in Hindi, but in Bhojpuri it is Badar. Yeah, the R and the L interchange in these languages. We have many other examples like Bar in Sarnami is Bal in Hindi. So this is a very productive yeah, English is sometimes difficult for me. It's productive
endeavor.
Sorry?
Endeavor.
And endeavor. I mean, you can make a whole list of words with the LR interchange. Yeah. But
so who's going to play the song?
Okay.
No, it's okay. We're not gonna play it because it'll take too much time. Moti, we could probably look at Gunga Gana now because that's quite interesting. There's some words that is Trinidad Bhojpuri that the Sarnamis don't understand.
I have it here in front of me. It starts with a doha hai, Gana mera jadoo bhari, sun le mora dushmani, kaan kholo mera gana ko, main hu tera guru gyani. My song has powerful magic. Listen to me, my enemies. Close your ears to my song. I'm your teacher of wisdom. Yeah, and then you have the song, the real song. Sab parivar kuchur manawe, sab parivar kuchur manawe. Yeah. This word kuchur is, it was strange to me, but kuchur means kach kach. In Sarnami, we know the word kach kach, making trouble. Yeah, making kach kach kare. And this reduplication of kach kach has a meaning of making trouble. The whole family is celebrating, and the mute one is singing a song. Gunga gana gawe. Yeah, Gunga is a mute one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the next line is Baap mar gaye besharam se mai karat guman re. This song can also be understood in a different way, because there is some how would you say?
Double entendre. Double entendre.
No, I don't understand you, Visham.
Double meaning.
It has a double meaning, because what I understand from this song is that the writer, the lyricist, is blaming the people that they forget their culture very easily, and they were singing nice songs, but now they sing Gunga Gana, stupid songs. Yeah, you understand? Stupid songs that the father, yeah, the father, Baap mar gaye besharam se. When the father heard such stupid songs, he died out of shame. And the mother beams with pride. Mai karat guman re. So there is a whole family who has split in all different directions in cultural adaptations. ऐसे ऐसे आगे आगे जाते हैं. Bolo?
Okay, so I don't know how much time you have left. If you could do one more, I just check in with the moderator. Has he exceeded his 12 minutes?
You can take some of mine,
Yes, the 12 minutes have already been exceeded.
Okay.
Take some of mine. You can go ahead and take some of mine.
A short one, it's possible.
Okay, so with Moti, we'll do one more. One more, so Ratia Pusura Batiaile.
This is a lady who is blaming her boyfriend, her husband. Where have you spent your day, all day? Where did you spend that time? And now you come home when it is night, and then you have to whisper and talk. Behind this song is the social situation, as in India, you know, where the whole family lives in a cottage, and all of them sleep together, 4, 5, 10 people. And yeah, this lady is young. Her husband spent the time elsewhere, and now he wants to make love to her, and he has to whisper to her, and that's why she's blaming him. She's a little jealous. Where was he? Where was he?
And I just wanna say, Lan, so that dinawa kaha gawayo na ratia pusur pusurabati aile. So that's exactly what Moti is translating there. But I think the time is essentially up, Moti. Excellent job. I just want to emphasize that in the songs Moti gave, one, you could learn Hindustani words. The other factor, it actually looks at the change with Vanita spoke of earlier with regard to the lyrical content. And it also emphasizes our experiences in the song in addition to expressing the languages. Yeah. So I think we should hand it over to the moderator now, Moti.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Moti Marhé from the Netherlands and Dr. BHIMULL for your contribution to the presentation. Before we go to our last speaker, I would like to apologize for the absence of Pandit Rabindranath Ravi PERSAUD from Guyana, who was also on the panel to present to you today, but unfortunately he could not make it, so please allow me to offer you the excuses on his behalf. Our last speaker for tonight is Mr. Jason SOOKRAM from Trinidad. He is a certified international auditor and chartered public accountant, businessman and creator of chutneymusic.com. Welcome, Mr. SOOKRAM. Please speak for about 12 minutes. The microphone is yours.
Okay, well, they saved the best for last, right? My name is Jason SOOKRAM. I'm not a doctor. I have a master's in innovation and entrepreneurship. I can't do no fancy language, frequency Deutsch. But that is German. We have a question here. Can any one of the speakers talk about chutney having the potential to bring together Indo artists in Guyana, Trinidad, and Suriname? That is already happening. Chutneymusic.com, my online platform, 100,000 people. We only doing chutney. Dr. Ramnath, that's nowhere. Yes, Ramnath. She was speaking about Gana and creolization. Gana is also going westernized, right? With a lot of electronic dance music in elements. We call it Hindi pop now. So it's no longer Gana, it's called Hindi pop. We represent a lot of the, will you relax yourself? Yes. We represent a lot of the Dutch, well, not the Dutch, Suriname artists, the artists from Netherlands, Trinidad, Guyana, North America, South Africa. Just this morning, I was checking the website stats and we had an influx of Pakistani, what do you call that? Viewers, you know. The website is offered in 155 languages, of which Hindi is our biggest, well, we support Hindi fully because the biggest country that visits the website, you would think would be Trinidad, because chutneymusic.com, Trinidad, is actually India. Indians, because we also support Bhojpuri now, Bhojpuri songs. And well, that is with unification right there. Amalia, to your question, we also have CRC 2021, which is a competition bringing together singers. And through that, we are encouraging them to speak the language, use the Hindi, because there's a genre on the rise now called Bollywood, where they take Bollywood melodies, sing it over in English and try to pass it off as chutney soca, right? So that is fine, but where is the Hindi? As was it Dr. Ramnath speaking about the identity? What is lending itself to that Indian identity? What is making them proud of their Indianness? So with this competition, we say, hey, we're going to give you a lot of marks for being creative with the language, using a lot of Hindi, thus giving them that platform to as Visham said, no one gets a chance to practice Hindi now because they have not done a good job of teaching it to the younger ones. As Dr. would you, don't do that. Dr. Mahabir is chutney music assisting the Indian people to speak? Yes, because that Gunga Gana explanation, Visham wrote at a PhD level a story for chutneymusic.com, and that went like whoosh over everyone's head, right? So me using my ability to break it down small, because in programming, there's a saying that the beauty is in the simplicity. So I broke it up and I made it a bit salacious. And then that got 50,000 reads in one day, you know? So Visham writing, whoosh, same information, Jason, write it, 50,000 reads. Why? Because you whet the appetite. You were able to deliver the knowledge in a way that the layman could, well, I don't want to say layman, right? But that the normal person could understand. Another question is chutney taking roots in area. Yes, we have a big Fiji. I get the most questions here, boy. Wait. Is chutney taking root in areas like Fiji? Yes, we have actually we have videos from Fiji, Mauritius, Australia, New Zealand, basically everywhere the Jahajis touch, and there's an Indian person. Like I saw Dwayne, is it Dwayne earlier? He's from Belize. I didn't even know it had people in Belize who are of Indian descent, and through this I am learning. We enjoy chutney music in Fiji, particularly when it is Sarnami or two languages or close. That is what I tell people from a business perspective. Why say in English? English is only 2 billion speakers. Why you're not leveraging the 2 billion speakers of some sort of Hindustani? If you sing it in both, you can also reach 4 billion people, which is why this website, chutneymusic.com, reaches over 2 million people every month. Yes, Belize has East Indians, Dr. Williams and I are from Belize. Yeah, big up the Belize people. So coming back to the platform, I heard chutney music, Kanchan, Babla, in the streets of Mumbai. Yes, actually the Bhojpuri artists and them, they actually send in their music to the website. I see Nicholas there, he does most of the posting. Also, we are currently engaged in talks with the Indian High Commission of both Trinidad and now, well, I don't live in Trinidad anymore. I live in Canada now. So as Dr. Marhé was saying, it is very cold. It is very cold in Canada as well. So the Indians from India, the Bhojpuri speakers, they're very interested in this chutney music. And as Visham said, Sneha Kanwarka, musical director, she came to Trinidad and they got exposed to this chutney music and they love it. And we actually have like a PhD students reaching out because they want to study this thing, and chutneymusic.com has gone a long way in basically aggregating all the aggregating all the styles of music. Dr. Albert is saying, why do they love chutney music? It's very close to Bhojpuri folk music. Actually, Rakesh Yankaran and Rasika Dindial. We are hoping, as I said earlier, with the Indian High Commission to go and do a concert over there, because oil has gone through in Trinidad. I used to work in the oil industry, and I used to watch the financial statements and saying, wow, this thing going to hell in a handbasket. So I said, no study energy, study innovation, because we want to export our culture, export food, doubles. If doubles is the most popular food source, well, arguably one of the more popular food sources in Trinidad. Why have we not exported it? Why have we not exported chutney music? Why have we not made our information readily available? We have to go and beg the government, beg this one and beg that one. No, we have to, anybody who wants to learn about chutney, let them come. We start as chutney music, then we start to do religion, then we start to do culture, then we start to do history. Jason, you mentioned Dwayne Bravo comes to mind. And is that sensitizing more style? Yes. So they want to know about Dwayne Bravo and his ability to reach the Indians. Correct. With the creolization of music, right? You need to make this thing not an Indian thing. Chutney is not an Indian thing. Chutney is universally applicable. We at chutneymusic.com and our events is not only Indian people, it's anybody who wishes to learn about the identity, they come. Love what you're saying, make money from your culture. That is exactly, Dr. Albert, you're right here. Yes, why are we not exporting our culture? We are so underdeveloped, and you know, there really needs there's need for a body to come and hold these people accountable for singing nonsense and pronouncing the words wrongly. And again, maybe in a half academic, half culturalist, well, not a half, you can't have more than two halves, right? Half academic and being able to get in the ears of the crowd, we are able to make this thing, for lack of a better word, sexy, right? Make it sexy so everyone could come and, well, that's the marketing, right? So everyone could come and say, wow, this is a genre I could see myself lending, I could see myself in that. And just more singers, better compositions, and you might have a $1 billion industry just now. India accounts for 3% of the population in Belize. Yes, Belize. All check out the website. Plenty things for all there. Dr. Ramnath, come on right for the website. We'll gladly appreciate your knowledge. I think I've exhausted my time. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Jason SOOKRAM from Trinidad. The floor is now open for questions, comments, and contributions. They must be short, no more than 2 or 3 minutes, followed by brief responses from the presenters. Please remember short questions and short answers for maximum participation, because there are various time zones in this panel discussion. You can also participate by writing in the chat box at the bottom of the screen, which will be seen by everyone. When you participate, please identify yourself by name and by country. We would like to identify everyone by name for recording purposes and for a demographic survey. If your name does not appear on your profile or your screen, please click the 3 dots in the blue box on the top right of your picture and type your name. This meeting is being recorded live and would be uploaded later after editing on YouTube for posterity. This meeting is also being streamed live on the Facebook page of the Indo-Caribbean Cultural Center and other social media networks. If you wish to speak, please unmute your microphone. Only those who are speaking should unmute the microphone. We will open the floor now for questions, comments, and answers by the presenters, and we will end the meeting in about 20 minutes, where we will hand it over to our chairwoman again. I saw that the participation in the text box has already started. So who would like to go first for a question or a comment?
Namaskaram. My name is DEVANAND BHAGWAN, and I'm from Guyana. I really appreciate this conversation on Indian languages in the Caribbean. I am very fortunate to have lived in the Bhojpuri district in northern India for many decades. So it has really helped me to appreciate the Guyanese culture and our background and our language and our music much better. You know, before I went and I lived in India, I used to think of our Bhojpuri words such as like second class and not the real thing, and feeling sort of like isolated. Like we're not authentic. But being in India, I recognized for sure that our language is very authentic. For example, you know, the little iron piece in Guyana we call it the pukni. You know, that's the instrument that you blow to get your fire going. That's what we say in Guyana. But I'm married to an Indian national, and she's from North India, and she says fukni. It's not pukni, it's fukni. Now she's from Dehradun, which is north of Delhi. But when I went to the Bhojpuri district, they were saying Pukni. I was really so surprised, you know. Similarly, the festival Phagwa, we say Phagwa in Guyana, and in much of North India, they say holy. Similarly, the word for rice, where my wife comes from, they say chawal, but we say bat. The point is, a lot of our words that we use in the Caribbean is surely authentic, and this gives me great hope and great joy. This is really wonderful. A couple of other things. I don't want to dominate the time here, though Dr. Mahabir has given me a few minutes. The thing is, like someone mentioned about this term "bapre bap." I've heard it in Guyana growing up. Now, it could be a borrowed thing from Suriname. I'm not really sure, but we do say it in Guyana, okay? Now, with regards to language, I think it's important for us to, when we can really appreciate the origin of it, okay? We don't have to adapt to society. What I mean by that, the word chutney, for example, and I think just about all of our speakers here tonight, we're saying the word chutney, C-H-U-T-N-E-Y. The proper word is chutney, okay, C-H-A-T, chutney, okay? And no, it's a long story. I don't want to, it's with regards to linguistics, but it is important for us to retain the originality of some of these words, okay, and not to be influenced by the Creole culture, the Western culture, the Western vocabulary. It is important for us to retain these words, all right? My last point is, I think it's really important for us to make concrete attempts in retaining our language and our traditions. So I would really suggest that perhaps, we can have bottom houses, courses, courses on TV and other social media. It's a great place for us to just, we don't have to, you know, I was in touch with someone from the Indian High Commission in Guyana quite a few years ago. And we were talking, and he rightly said, nobody really wants to learn Hindi. Where can they get a job? But the objective here is not to get a job in Hindi, but it was to communicate with the basics, okay? And basics Bhojpuri, I think it'll be wonderful. I think it's really very important because many people have recognized the symbiotic relationship between culture and language.
I just want to comment on something you said. Moti alluded to it. There are phonetical differences between both. So somebody asked a question, Bhojpuri, what it means. So just like you have French and Italian, or Italian and Spanish, you have Bhojpuri and Hindi. The difference is quite stark in the context of Portuguese and Spanish. Even though the speakers might understand each other, it's still essentially two different languages. So Phuke means to blow, Phukani means a blowing instrument. Chate means to lick, Chutney means relish. So there's a linguistic significance of what you said. All the shahs become sas. So shahar becomes sahar. So Trinidadians refer to Trinidad Bhojpuri, in Trinidad Bhojpuri to Port as sahar. Hum aaj hum sahar jaila. right? That's another important point. Often, like you thought, a lot of people think Bhojpuri is corrupted Hindi. Unfortunately, from Indian nationalistic perspective, from my own experience, it's seen as that. But my nani used to say, "Bihan hum tabego jai," which in standard Hindi is, "Kal main tabego jaunga." You hear the difference. Obviously, a speaker of Hindi might not understand. One thing I noticed in Suriname, when I speak Hindi, they understand, Khari Boli, modern standard Hindi. And when I speak Trinidad Bhojpuri, they understand as well. Whereas my nani, if I would speak in Hindi, she may not necessarily understand, but only when I speak in Trinidad Bhojpuri, she would understand. So the essential difference here is we have to understand from a Caribbean perspective that our Caribbean Hindustani language is actually in its own right a language that is separate and apart from modern standard Hindi.
Can I make a comment? I want to mention to the team, Dr. Mahabir, this is a really good session for me. Even though I'm a finance and economics professor, I believe I have a PhD in music because I like music even more than the finance and economics. And I would like to tell you that I play my guitar reasonably well. And when I play my guitar, I play it from the heart. I don't even think about structure. So I'm telling a story. And this is one of the things that Indian musicians have been able to do, tell stories from their music, either by voice or by just the melody line. I was fortunate to play along with a superstar from India named Sudha Raganathan from South India. And she plays Carnatic music. The music is only giving you a soul, just what story that they live. So I love the story about the Indian man going out and coming back to the wife and trying to explain what happened. A lot of the Indian music has that, but this linguistic story is really amazing, and it is a real education for us. And my comment to the young entrepreneur, Jason, is that how do we blend the traditional and the modern so that the younger Indian population can show some interest to learn who we are and to learn the language more so than before?
Well, that is already being done through the social media. You feed them little tidbits of Hindi, and they even like dancing, right? Dancing is considered a kind of taboo thing, whining as we say in Trinidad. We put up a couple of songs with with a normal person whining or dancing, viral, and now people are sending more and more videos. They want to learn all these songs that Dr. Marhé and Visham translated are on chattymusic.com. They want to go and learn about the song, just like how you just learn about Ratia Pusur Pusur. They was like, wow, is all of that going on in that song? Yeah. You see, we have to deliver the material, and once we get the academics to come on board, we will do that.
I just want to say, Jason, there are expressions in Hindustani what you express in Trinidad English Creole. So to shake your waist is Kamaria Lachkave, and Thumka Lagawe is when you gyrate one gyration. So they say take a joke in soca balance. So I think we must appreciate these things because it shows how language actually is transcendental across cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Visham, I just had a question about how Bhojpuri is using everyday language, things like baigan and these kind of stuff. There's things we take for granted. You could probably explain that better than myself.
Yeah, I mean, from Caribbean Hindustani, I did Diwali Bhojan, and I explored the language through Bhojan. Today we explore the language through Bhajan. So Bhojan looked at things like seke di roti, bhunje di tarkari, sorry. Takari is the Trinidad anglicized version. So, and words like baigan and paisa. I want to note that there's a difference here because in Standing Island, paisa and baigan, which is a Delhi accent, whereas my nana would say baigan and paisa. These are distinct accents or Bhojpuri accents in Hindi, And a few of our speakers making the point, yes, Bhojpuri and Hindi are separate languages. Bhojpuri is from the Magadhan languages and Hindi is from the Shauraseni languages. So they're actually cousins. Bhojpuri is related to more Bengali, Assamese, Maithili, Magahi, as well as Oriya, which is a separate language family from which Hindi and the rest belong to.
Thank you. I just got to know that Mr. Shabir wanted to add a contribution to the discussion. Mr. Shabir, may I call upon you to speak your part?
Sabir.
Yes, Mr.
Sabir,
Sabir.
unmute. Sabir Nakuda from
Yes,
Barbados.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yes, we can hear you. You
okay.
may continue.
My name is Sabir Nakuda from Barbados. I came from India when I was 10 years old. I'm an author, researcher, and an oral researcher. I wrote 2 books. Bengal to Barbados is a 100-year history of East Indians in Barbados. And the next one called Muslims of CARICOM. I just want to add, first of all, I want to remind all of you that we do have East Indians living in Barbados. We would not have come under the same circumstances as those in Guyana and Trinidad and Suriname and other Caribbean countries. We came on our own. And so we came around 1910. And right now in Barbados, we have Gujarati East Indians, we have Sindhis, we have South Indians, and of course we have Indo-Caribbean people living here. I speak Gujarati, I speak Hindi, I speak Urdu, and I did not know until I got to Suriname.
Brad.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Hello. And I did not know until I got to Suriname doing my research that I could also understand Bhojpuri.
I'm Trinidad.
Hello.
Yeah, Trinidad.
Dino, you have to mute this Trinibai.
Yes.
Yes.
I just want to let you know that that we are here, that you need not to forget us, and that we within Barbados, many of our children speak our, for example, my family and most of the Muslim Indian come from Gujarat. So
we understand. Bye.
Dino, can you mute that Trinibai?
I don't know, somebody is interfering with
this talk. Go ahead, Sabir. Sorry about that.
So we still speak Gujarati.
Please continue, Mr.
We can I continue?
Yes, Mr. Sabir, you may please continue.
We still speak Gujarati, and fortunately, we have also train our children to speak Gujarati, our provincial language. Many of us also speak Hindi and Urdu. So one of the things I think that the trick or one of the idea is, and a suggestion from me is we need to start it at home. So for example, my children who are born in Barbados, they speak Gujarati. My grandchildren who are now coming up, they speak Gujarati because at home, that is what we do with them. Our people, those who come from, for example, South India, they come from Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka and Kerala and so on, and they speak Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam and so on. And so we still maintain not only our language, but we also maintain our culture. So the point is that whenever we are speaking about the Indian diaspora, I think that you also need to remember that they are Indian diaspora in Barbados. And as it relates to language, yes, we are still maintaining our language, whether it's Gujarati or Hindi or Urdu. And I think that we hope to continue to do that. Another suggestion would be, as you know, in Trinidad and Guyana, there are many schools run by the Hindus and by the Muslims and the others. And I think that it may be a good idea that you could have a subject or add a Hindi to the syllabus. I think that may make a big difference because you need to start the kids to learn their language from the time they're young. And I think that has been the advantage for us in Barbados. We have been continuing to do so. I do not know how long that will happen. What happens sometimes would be like, for example, our kid, we will speak to them in Gujarati and they might answer us back in English. It shows that they know what we are talking about. So there is a good beginning. And I think that we need to do things like that, where we can continue to keep our language alive, whether it is Hindi, whether it is Gujarati, whether it is Bhojpuri, or whether it is even Sindhi language. So that is my contribution. And as I said, this is one of the books that I had written, Bengal to Barbados. It's a 100-year history, and you can go on it. It's on Amazon, and you can get it on Kindle, and you can learn more about the history of the East Indians living in Barbados. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to say a few words.
Thank you also for contributing to this discussion. We will end the discussion here. Thank you to everyone who participated, to everyone who tuned into the discussion. Thanks to all of you. I will now hand over to Devika Bipat, our chairwoman for tonight, from our beautiful country of Suriname, to bring the curtains to a close. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye, and over to you, Devika.
Thank you very much, Karishma. Thank you very much, Ms. Karishma Lal Mohammed Matura. Thank you. You've been an excellent moderator. I would also like to thank all the participants and especially the presenters also. And also I would like to thank the advisory and planning team led by our one and only Dr. Kumar Mahabir. This is a team effort directed by people in the Indian diaspora. Dr. Baithak Ram from New York. I'm so sorry if I pronounce some of the names wrong. Brian Rampal from California, Cliff Rajkumar from Canada, Ravi Dev from Guyana, and Sat Sukdev from Trinidad. Also, we have Leon Brunnings, Sadhana Mohan, Dev Sharman, all from Suriname, and many others. And also not to forget our behind the scenes guys, our IT tech guy, Dinesh Maharaj of Sordek Studios. Now, as I have said before, this public meeting is being hosted by Indo-Caribbean Culture Center. Feel free to contact ICC to publish your books, magazines, and reports. And our regular meetings will continue next Sunday night at 7:30 Trinidad Atlantic time, 8:30 p.m. Suriname time. We will continue to discuss a variety of topics. Please feel free to suggest a topic for discussion. You may also wish to organize an entire panel, or you may want to offer yourself to be a presenter or a discussant on a panel. Now, feel free to send us your email address and WhatsApp number to continue to be in our database, to continue receiving info from us. And our tentative topic next Sunday night is on the economic situation in Guyana, based on a new book by Dr. Ramesh Ganpat. If you do not get an invitation from us for our Sunday public meetings, feel free to contact us. You can also go direct to Facebook page of the Indo-Caribbean Culture Center and view the program live. This way, you do not need a Zoom link, user ID, or password. And please don't forget to like and share our Facebook page. Now, I would love to say take care, be safe. Till next Sunday, same time, same virtual space. Bye-bye. May God bless you and namaste.